So you might be wondering, what are these big boys doing behind my back? And the answer is that they control literally everything, including me. Welcome back, guys, and today we're going to be taking a look at the stock market, what's going on with the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Bitcoin, the dollar index, US oil, and some foreign markets that you should be paying attention to because something crazy just happened. But first, we're gonna head over to my screen and take a look at this. So Jamie Dimon is offering a surprising view on the economy. He's like, yes, the soft landing is on the board. Yes, that's the base case, but we're not ruling out a recession, a collapse. And speaking of collapse, take a look at this. Once again, China is doing stimmies, and China is revealing the most aggressive stimulus package since the 2020, and the market is loving it. This is like a reverse market crash. It's a crash, but to the upside. Chinese market is up like 10% this morning. We'll take a look at that as well. Let's take a look at Trump media. What's going on with Mr. Trump? So Mr. Trump is expecting some really big losses, like really big losses on his stock market portfolio. And I'm like, Mr. Trump, how are we gonna fix this? Mr. Trump,
I see this. It's so incredible. Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Okay. Pshin, boom. Star Wars.
That's exactly how we're gonna fix it. So Trump media is suffering some big losses. We don't want to get into that. We don't want to catch a falling knife. We want to stay in the right direction at the right side of the trade. So let's take a look at what oil is doing. So oil is jumping on China stimulus. Congratulations. If you took my oil trade, you should be sitting on some pretty sweet gains right now. Not a financial advice. It's never a financial advice, just something to keep in mind. And consumer confidence is seeing the largest decline in more than 3 years. The US consumer is not happy with the way it's going, and they are broke. There is no cash, there is no money. The bank accounts are empty, and the credit card debt is piling up for a lot of people in the US. Pretty scary stuff in my opinion. And speaking of scary stuff, let's see what else is more scary. IDF is striking Beirut, and they're going all kaboom. This is what I call real scary. And the market does not care about that. The S&P is at record highs. So let's head over to the charts and take a look at what are some of the trades that are happening in the market. Look at this. Visa is selling off, down about 5%. Do we want to trade this? Should we have gotten into this? Let's take a look at it. We're going to take a look at the one-day chart on Visa and see what the risks are on this particular stock. Coming down to the 200-day moving average right here, it's a I don't want to say it's a buy, but it's getting in that sweet spot. We want to make sure that it does some kind of a structure, and then we want to see some kind of a bounce. And if that happens, yes, I would definitely get into this, but this hasn't happened yet, and if we don't catch falling knives. As you ask, so Cash Boozer, what happens when you catch falling knives? And the answer is
emotional damage.
That's what happens when you catch falling knives. Don't catch falling knives. Let's take a look at SPY. What's going on with SPY? So touching record highs on SPY. If you're a SPY hodler, congratulations. I'm always pro SPY. It's a buy, hold, and forget. Don't think about it. Don't do anything. If there are risks, I'm going to tell you that there are risks, but right now, absolutely no problems with SPY. We'll take a look at it from a higher time frame. Look at this, almost touching all-time high. And last week, I told you on Friday, if you don't believe me, last week I told you on Friday that the SPY candle is going to look something like this. We will see a test of the all-time high. That's exactly what's going on. The resistance was broken, and now it's acting like a support right here, and the market trades above the resistance level. As long as it stays above this level and we see a consolidation, absolutely no problems with SPY. Let's take a look at what's going on with the Qs. So not much is going on with the Qs, pretty much the same stuff as the SPY, but we want to see a break above the level that I've marked. This is a really ugly level that I've marked. I should do a better job than this, but 486 is the level. We want to see a clean break. We want to see a break to the upside, maybe something like this. If that happens, I can see a test of the all-time high. Hasn't happened yet. I am not recommending it. Wait for the confirmation. Let's take a look at the IWM, the small caps. So I was a little bit cautious on the small caps. I told you guys that we should be looking at some kind of a chop, maybe something like this. would be ideal, but we haven't seen any confirmations either to the upside or to the downside. We don't know where this market is going. Absolutely no trades on that. So the trade that I gave you was the US dollar. This was what I was talking about last time. We'll take a look at it from a daily perspective. The US dollar is just barely holding on. I know that you might be getting a little bit nervous, but it hasn't broken the 100 level to the downside, which should be your stop loss. As long as that holds, we are not getting out of this trade. We want to wait for that confirmation, and we want to make sure that the stop loss gets hit and then we get stopped out, not because we got nervous. So let's take a look at the dollar, what's going on. So it came down. We want to see something like this. I think what's going to happen tomorrow is that it's going to go a little bit lower, and then we might see a little bit of a potential bounce, and we want to see it consolidate at this level. A break above this 102 level is something that I'm watching to the upside. If that happens, it's probably going to the moon, to the upside. Microsoft, we talked about this earlier. Microsoft came down. We want to see a nice consolidation, guys. Look at this, a beautiful level over here, 427, beautiful level. If it consolidates over here, this is a massive support level. We want to see maybe a few candles over here and then some consolidation and then a break to the upside. That is the probable scenario. That is what my base case is. We will see if this plays out, and if it does, we're gonna give everyone a congratulations who's gonna take a trade. But don't jump on this yet because we don't have confirmation. The way we have confirmations is when a consolidation happens after a drawdown and then a massive break happens to the upside. So we'll take a look at the gold, absolutely breaking higher again, another 1% higher. Can you believe this stuff? This is just absolutely insane stuff on gold. I think it's at all-time high. Is it at all-time high? Let's take a look at it from a weekly perspective. Yes, it is at all-time high. Congratulations on gold. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I've told you to hold it, forget about it, don't touch it. The rally is really strong. It's continuing to pump and it's not showing any signs of weakness. It's just continuing to go up, up, and away. And silver is doing pretty much the same thing. Let's take a look at silver real quick. Again, look at this massive percentages on silver, up about 4.5%, touching all-time highs, coming up to a bit of a resistance zone over here. If it does cross this level, we should be seeing even higher returns on silver. Coming up, no problems yet. We want to see a full candle close on silver, and then we make a decision if you want to make a trade. And I would probably get in on silver on something like this. This is the base case. If this happens, then the market should be expecting to go a little bit higher. Whatever gold does, silver is going to follow, so watch gold very carefully. Silver and copper and all the other metals are gonna follow the base case of gold. Let's take a look at US oil. So I've told you guys the trade on US oil. This is the classic trade, and you should be all looking at this very, very carefully because a lot of you got stopped out over here. But if you know your charts, you should be looking at some reactions over here, over here, over here, and all the way in the back. These are some massive reactions on the weekly time frame, and we should be heading higher on US oil, specifically because the China stimulus story is going to play out. Let's take a look at Chinese market. So Chinese market is FXI. This is what I'm holding right now. The large cap ETF on China. Absolutely bonkers. Look at that. 12% just today. Looking extremely strong, coming up on a resistance zone. If it does clear the 30 level mark right here, about, let's say right there. If it does clear this with a full candle closure, we should be expecting the next level, which is the 200 period moving average on the weekly time frame. This is what the critical level is gonna be. If it does clear that, if we get a full candle closure on the weekly time frame above the 200 period moving average, it's definitely a buy, and a full swing recovery on the Chinese market is in play. A lot of people on the internet are like, Cash Booza, the market is gonna crash, China is done, US is done, the world is done, everything is done, oil is gonna collapse, everyone's gonna get bombed. No guys, we don't have confirmations on any of this stuff. Stop making it up and trade the charts and the charts only. And my position on China is going to be revealed right here. I'm going to link a screenshot right here. You should be able to see what my position is on the mega caps of China. And a lot of people are also talking about the yield curve inversion. They're like when the 10-year minus the 2-year yield uninverts, all kinds of story happens. Let's take a look at that. Why not? So I'm going to do a US 10-year minus a US 2-year yield. Let's take a look at the yield curve inversion. What's happening over here? The yield curve is currently uninverted, guys, and we're not seeing any problems with the SPY. This is what the market says. I'm not making up any of this stuff. People are like, when this thing uninverts, a recession happens. We're like 3 months out, 6 months out from a recession. I'm like, I don't care about any of this stuff because the price action is not telling me any problems just yet. If SPY fails, if Qs fail, if the IWM starts falling, I know that we're in trouble, and that's when I trim my positions in these ETFs. But right now, absolutely no problems. Yes, this is an indicator, but I don't care about that because I trade only the price action and a few other indicators which I might tell you guys about in the future. But just trade the price action, guys. Don't fall for any of this BS. It's not gonna give you any good returns. So that's all I had for you. I hope you liked today's show. If you did, let me know in the comments what you thought about the SPY, the Qs, and the IWM, and everything that's going on with the China story. Follow Cash Booza. Give me a like, give me a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. And till then, I'm going back to these guys. Peace out.